Hi, my name is Brooklyn Foltz, and today I am doing the assistive technology assessment. I am using my HP laptop, and within my HP laptop, it has Windows 11 stored in it. And that is where the majority of my accessibility features can be found, is through Windows 11. And so I'm going to be going into my settings, and there's a subsection in my settings under accessibility, and this is where the majority of my accessibility features can be found. And it is done within three different sections: vision, hearing, and interaction. And so the first one I'm going to be doing is vision, because that is where the most of the accessibility features are. And our first one is text size. So when you click on text size, it shows you a text size preview. So I have mine on the lowest setting, and it is showing us that the size of my words are small. And for somebody who may have vision impairments, they may need to make their text size much larger. And so what you do is you toggle with this, and you bring your text all the way up here, and it enlarges your text. And so now we can see in our text size preview that the size of the words have changed and they are much larger. And if you want to apply this to the rest of your computer, you just hit apply. And now the text of my words are all enlarged throughout my screen. So I'm going to get out of my settings quickly, and we are going to go to the entire screen. The text is a lot larger than what you would normally see if you were just to look this up with a traditional text size. And so this can help people who have low vision to be able to read everything that they need to be able to see. The one downside of this feature, I would say, is that it doesn't just blow up the text size, it also enlarges the entire screen. And so some words can get cut off. So for example, within my settings, the Bluetooth and device section, the word device did get cut off. So sometimes you may not be able to read everything that you need to be able to see because it does get cut off. But other than that, I think this is a great accessibility feature. And I'm going to be turning it back to the traditional settings. And now we are back, and I will be showing you the mouse pointer and touch accessibility feature. So right now I have the traditional, just small white mouse. And sometimes for me, my mouse can get lost in documents and Word docs because of the white background screen. And so I'm sure people with vision impairments may also struggle with this. So you can change the style of your mouse. You can make your mouse a small, thin black mouse, a thicker black mouse, or even a colored mouse. And so my mouse right now is pink, but you have the ability to pick purple, green, yellow, orange, pink, or two different shades of blue. And this could also be perfect for somebody with color blindness who may not be able to see some of these colors. And you can as well change the size of your mouse. So I'm going to make it the largest it can be. And so as you can see on my screen, my mouse is huge, but it allows for you to see exactly where you were trying to go to. So over here, if I want to, is exactly on the home screen, and I can tap it, and it'll take me direct. I'm going to put that back down. And another thing for the mouse and pointer is the touch indicator. So this is for my specific computer. Not all Windows 11 computers have touchscreen, but mine does. And so basically, you can use your finger as a mouse. So this can help with people with mobility issues, or as I said, people with vision who may have a hard time seeing the mouse, even with it being enlarged. So what you do is you're not going to be able to see me do this, but you just take your finger and you can scroll it throughout the screen. And with this as well, which I already have it put on, is it makes the circle darker and larger. So wherever you put your finger, a dark dot will also appear. So I'm going to be showing you. You can see that dark dot. And that's just showing me exactly where I'm touching. So I know, because with the large mouse, you can also see exactly where you're touching. And this allows for the same thing, but with touchscreen. So I go to Bluetooth and devices, gaming, privacy and security, and accessibility. The only downside of this, in my opinion, would be is that sometimes my finger can get in the way of things, and so I can click on things that I'm not trying to, but I feel like that is the only downside of this. The next thing I wanted to show is the text cursor. So as I said with the mouse, is sometimes my mouse gets lost in documents, and so does my text cursor. And so for somebody with vision impairments, this may also be the case for them. So you can change the color of your text cursor. I have mine as pink as well, and you can also change the size. So in our preview, you can see how my text cursor has gotten much larger. And you can also change the text cursor thickness. And so as you can see here in our preview, my text cursor is a small, thin little black line. I can enlarge that to make it a very thick box. And I want to show you this in a Word document. So I'm going to open up this Word document, and you can see my flashing black box as well as my pink is Brooklyn. And you can see the black dot and the black box, and the purple cursor is right at the end of the last N. And so I know exactly where my sentence ended, and I can start my new one without worrying about coinciding with that one. I'm going to pause for a second to get to our next section. Okay, so I have unpaused the video, and the next thing I am going to be showing is our magnifier. So this is as well for people who may have low vision. And what you can do is that you can magnify your screen. So a lot of the times when I'm doing reading online, I have a hard time seeing the words because it's in such small font. And so instead of changing the text size, this is an alternative. And I'm going to be using my fingers, and I'm going to just zoom in. And so I'm able to just move along with my finger and with the magnifying to be able to read exactly what I need to. And I'm able to easily just switch over. So even though it is taking up the majority of my screen, it's very easy for me to move with my finger to see the rest of the words. In that way, nothing gets cut off from the screen for me. And that's it for our magnifier. The next thing I wanted to show is our color filters. And this is specifically for people who have color blindness. And so this allows us to see a color filter preview of what someone would see with red, green, green weak color blindness. And so you can see our chart of what different shades of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple would look like, as well as in this picture. And you can see that for someone with green weakness, that green may show up as a paler color, or we can do red, green, red weak, where red looks more like a really pale burnt orange, or blue yellow, where yellows are really muted and blues are shades lighter than what someone who could see colors would typically see. And then there's also grayscale for someone with complete color blindness, where we can see different shades of gray and how red, orange, yellow, and all the other colors would appear to somebody with color blindness. Contrast themes is another thing we have, and this not only can help people with vision disabilities, but as well with sensory overload. And so I personally like my screen to be nice and bright, while others may like a darker screen. So if you have an Apple iPhone, sometimes you know that we can switch it from dark mode to light mode, and this is essentially the same thing with contrast themes. So we have aquatic, which can make our screen darker, desert, which makes our screen bright white, dusk, which can make our screen a grayish color, and the night sky, which is the blackest black that we can have. And that can change your background image, your color, and theme packs for any downloaded apps that you may have. And the last thing for vision is our narrator. And so our narrator is able to read everything on our screen for us. And we have the option of Zira, or I think it is David, as our narrators. And so I'm going to kind of showcase this for you real quick. I'm going to turn our narrator on. And right now we're going to be listening to Zira.
Starting settings window, narrator dialog, skip for now, button, Alt+S, new natural voices are available. Narrator now offers more natural sounding voices that you can install now, or get from narrator settings later.
So that was Zira.
Narrator window, exiting narrator.
That was Zira that we just listened to. And as you can see, she read everything in that text box for us aloud. And this is perfect for somebody who may be completely blind and needs things read to them from their screen because they do not have the ability to read it themselves. We also have the option of David, And while I'm showing you the voice of David, I want you to notice that in the text box, as he is speaking, it shows us a bright blue box surrounding the words that he's reading. So this can be perfect for somebody with cognitive disabilities that allows them to read alongside the narrator and see exactly where the narrator is reading.
Narrator dialogue. Skip for now. Button. Alt plus S. New natural voices are available. Narrator now offers more natural sounding voices that you can install now. Look at the narrator settings later. Exiting narrator.
So as we saw, that was the voice of David. And as I was saying, the blue box allows for people to follow alongside the narrator. So not only can this help people that have vision impairments, it can as well help people with cognitive disabilities because it allows them to read alongside the narrator. What they were talking about within that text box, though, is that now we have the ability to add natural voices. And so, what this means is that there are different voices that are more human like opposed to robotic. Both Zira and David are robotic sounding voices. And I personally have a hard time listening alongside a robotic voice. And I'm assuming people with vision disabilities and any other disabilities could probably feel the same way. It can be overstimulating and it can be hard to actually engage in what they're trying to get us to be engaged with. And so those natural voices allow for us to listen to human-like voices so that way we can easily follow along. I wanted to showcase this, but on my computer at least, it wanted you to pay for the natural voices, so I was not able to actually show it. Another thing that I found doing my research is that you can add legacy voices. And what that is that you can add your own voice or anybody else's voice that you know, and you can use that as your narrator. So instead of listening to one of the voices provided, you can listen to your own self read off all the text that you need from your computer. With the narrator, it allows for narrator audio output. So if you have that actual device, you are able to input that within the computer, and the narrator will work alongside that. Going along with the narrator, I showed you the narrator cursor where it has the blue box where you're allowed to move along. And that is also one of the things that they have within the settings, which I have that turned on. If you don't like that, you can have it turned off, but I found that very beneficial. And the only bad thing I would say about the narrator is the fact that you have to pay for the natural voices. And so you either pay for the natural voices or you listen to the robotic voices. And that's the only downside that I personally find with this. Now we're going to be moving on to hearing. So our first one is audio, and this one basically just allows us to change the volume levels. And so this can be used for anybody, whether you have a disability or you don't. The one thing I don't like about this is how there's not a lot of inclusivity for people with hearing disabilities, considering there's only two sections, and one of them is the volume. Our other section for hearing, though, is captions, and allows for live captions. So basically, while you're watching a video, it will provide captions at the top of our screen for us. So if you're on YouTube, you can already do this using their CC button. But if you are on a separate website that maybe does not have that ability, you can use your screen reader through your computer, and it will allow you to display text for you while you're listening to the audio. So I'm going to be turning this on. And I want to preface that sometimes it's very slow, it's very behind with the screen. It really is a disadvantage of this for somebody who does have hearing issues. And this is one of the only accessibility features we have with Windows 11, and sometimes it does not work. I am going to show you a video that I have to showcase it. So the video I have pulled up is an Amoeba Sisters video, and hopefully it will work for us. Ads are over, maybe, if I can get to there. Maybe not, okay. I apologize for the ads.
Structure. This is something all cells have, both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. It goes in and out of the cell, which means it is important for homeostasis.
So as you can see, it said that some captions are being missed, and this is a common problem I've found in the multiple times I've tried to use this. I'm going to play the video for a couple more seconds, and hopefully the screen reading will work.
It is the Zelda brain. I give it an 8 out of 10. Not very cute, but I know this thing is important, mainly because you've used the word homeostasis like over 9,000 times in episodes. Have you used it times? Really?
Okay, so as you can see, it has started to do the screen reading. It is very behind, but it does eventually get there. So this can be super useful, but like I said, I feel like it should be better considering it's one of the few accessibility tools that we have for people with hearing disabilities. I'm gonna go back to our settings. And back into our accessibility tab. So that was the end of our hearing accessibility features. And next we have our interactive ones. So the one thing I want to talk about that I'm not able to show you is that my computer actually does have the ability for eye control. So for the eye tracker, for you to be able to completely use your device just with moving your eyes. You have to have the output device for it, but I thought that was a really cool thing. And I wish I could showcase it, but you can use eye tracker to use eye control for this computer on Windows 11. And that very much so helps people with mobility issues. If they have no control of any parts of their body below the neck, the eye control is perfect for them. The one thing I can show you though is speech. And so this can go alongside with cognitive disabilities as well as mobility disabilities, where you are able to use your voice to type. And so I will show you that in the Word document I have. So you click the microphone and it says dictate, and I'm going to click on that. Hi, I have 2 cats and 2 dogs, period. So as you can see, I was able to completely type my entire sentence, not using my hands at all. The one downside of this, though, is that sometimes it does not do a good job with grammar, or if it mishears you and you're not clear enough, it can type something that you did not say. And it's a lot harder to use dictation to fix those mistakes than it is if you were actually able to type. So that is one downfall of this. And then the last thing I wanted to show you actually is not within my settings, but is also a Windows accessibility feature. Is I have this pulled up and it is a research paper about a lionfish. And this specific accessibility feature is really good for students or anybody with cognitive disabilities. So what you can do is you come over here and you can enter immersive reader. And I'm going to click on that. And essentially what immersive reader does is it gets rid of all the ads. And so this helps with engagement for people who may have sensory overload if they see ads, cognitive disabilities if they may get distracted easily. And what it does is it eliminates all those ads and takes you just to the actual reading and the pictures alongside it. Another feature that you can use with immersive reading is it can read it aloud.
What is a lionfish? The lionfish is a carnivorous fish native to the.
So this is great for students with cognitive disabilities. It reads it aloud, but it also highlights the words individually to allow you to read alongside with it. You can do text preferences. You can make the text size small, medium, large. You can change the font, the text spacing, as well as the column style. There's also a subsection for reading preferences, and this can help you change the language. So this is great for ELL learners. If your home language is Spanish, you can change it to Spanish, or any of the other languages that we have on here, which is a great access feature. And it also has the ability to help you with grammar as well, which my specific immersive reader does not have. But I want to take you to the original page, and as you can see here, distracted by, and that's why immersive reader is such a good helpful tool for students with cognitive disabilities, but as well with mobility with the read aloud ability that can be found on here. I'm going to check over here. Let's see. And I believe that is the end of my accessibility features on my Windows 11 computer. I learned so much from this assignment, and it really allowed me to see that all the useful tools that can be found on computers for people with disabilities, but it as well showed me the lack of accessibility that can be found in computers. Like, for example, mine had such a lack for the hearing section, but plenty for the vision. Um, so yeah, I really liked this assignment. I love learning about all this, and I learned that even I use some of these accessibility features that maybe I don't actually need, but it does make my life easier. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.